On June 12, 2025, a day that began like any other, little did anyone know the events that were about to unfold. Ahmedabad's Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport buzzed with the usual mix of emotion and anticipation. The air thrummed with the energy of journeys beginning and endings, hellos and goodbyes. Families hugged goodbye, clinging to each other for a moment longer, trying to etch the memory of this farewell into their minds. Business travelers checked their watches, their minds already racing ahead to meetings and deadlines, the rhythm of their professional lives pulling them forward. And students chatted about their summer plans, their voices filled with the carefree excitement of youth and the promise of adventure. The terminal was a melting pot of dreams and destinations. Air India Flight 171, a Boeing 787, 8 Dreamliner, gleamed on the tarmac, a silver bird poised to take flight. It stood as a symbol of connection, bridging continents and cultures. Ready for London, a bustling metropolis awaiting its daily influx of travelers. On board, 228 passengers and 14 crew members settled in, each with their own story, their own hopes, and their own reasons for making this journey. Among them was Vishwaskumar Ramesh, a British national returning home with his brother after a family visit, eager to get back to his life in London. Former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani also boarded, perhaps reflecting on his years of service and the impact he had made on the state. The cabin crew moved efficiently, their calm professionalism setting the tone for a smooth and comfortable flight. They were the silent guardians of the skies. The pilots, veterans with thousands of flight hours, completed their final checks, ensuring every system was functioning perfectly. Their expertise was the bedrock of the flight's safety. Doors closed, engines hummed, and the Dreamliner began its taxi to the runway, a slow, deliberate movement towards the point of no return. Passengers fastened seatbelts, bracing for takeoff, a familiar ritual that marked the transition from ground to air. The engines roared, pressing everyone back as the plane surged down the runway, a powerful surge of controlled energy propelling them forward. For those on board, London was just hours away, a promise of reunions, new beginnings, or simply a return to the familiar. For loved ones on the ground, a safe arrival was all they hoped for, a silent prayer accompanying the aircraft as it ascended into the heavens. No one imagined this ascent would be their last, that the journey they had embarked on would end in tragedy. Flight 171 lifted into the sky, climbing higher and higher, leaving behind the familiar world below. Its fate sealed within minutes, a cruel twist of fate that would forever change the lives of so many. The climb was routine until it wasn't. Suddenly, a sharp, unfamiliar noise cut through the cabin. Vishwaskumar, near an emergency exit, heard it clearly, a sound that didn't belong. In the cockpit, alarms blared and warning lights flashed. The plane lost momentum, and the pilots fought for control as the situation spiraled. Investigators would later find the Ram air turbine, or RAT, had deployed a last resort system triggered by catastrophic power loss. The Dreamliner, now a powerless glider, flew erratically over Ahmedabad. On the ground, witnesses watched in horror as the plane flew dangerously low, landing gear still down. Mobile footage captured the chaos, a wounded giant descending uncontrollably. Flight 171 was moments from disaster. The final moments, a descent filled with unimaginable tension, were a nightmare unfolding in real time. A scene of sheer terror played out as the aircraft hurtled towards the Earth. The Dreamliner, now a vessel of impending doom, plunged toward the BJ Medical College campus, where students, engrossed in their studies and daily routines, were completely oblivious to the danger rapidly approaching from above. Little did they know their lives were about to change forever. The roar of the descending plane, growing louder with each passing second, was the only warning, a terrifying siren announcing the impending catastrophe. The impact was catastrophic, a violent collision that would forever be etched in the memories of those who witnessed it. A fireball erupted as the plane struck, obliterating the men's hostel in a devastating explosion, fueled by tons of jet fuel, turning the area into an inferno. The explosion sent shockwaves across the campus, a physical manifestation of the horror that had just unfolded, shattering windows and raining debris, transforming the familiar landscape into a scene of utter destruction. A black plume of smoke, thick and ominous, marked the site, where 241 lives aboard and many more on the ground were lost in an instant, their stories tragically cut short. Survivors nearby emerged into chaos, a landscape of unimaginable destruction and despair. Fire, twisted metal, and devastation, a grim testament to the power of the tragedy. The medical college, a place of healing and learning, became a scene of mass tragedy, a stark contrast to its intended purpose. Students and faculty rushed to help, their medical training put to the ultimate test, facing a war zone, a scene of unimaginable horror and suffering. The crash left a deep scar, an indelible mark of sorrow and loss, on the city and its people, a wound that would take years to heal. Rescue efforts began immediately, a race against time to save those who could be saved, amid flames and wreckage, a scene of chaos and desperation. The scale of loss was immediately, heartbreakingly clear, a tragedy that resonated far beyond the campus and the city. The scene was one of utter devastation. Twisted metal, burning fuel, and the acrid smell of smoke filled the air. Amid this inferno, against all expectations, a miracle was about to unfold. Vishwaskumar Ramesh, battered and bruised, miraculously regained consciousness amidst the chaos. The world swam back into focus, a horrifying panorama of destruction greeting his eyes. Surrounded by the mangled remains of the aircraft, a scene of unimaginable destruction, his survival instincts took over, kicking in with primal force. He knew he had to get out. "When I got up, there were bodies all around me," he later recalled, his voice still thick with the trauma of that horrific night. The memory, forever etched in his mind, a constant reminder of the lives lost. Disoriented, his head throbbing and utterly terrified, he saw a glimmer of daylight filtering through a jagged rupture in the aircraft's fuselage. It was his only hope. The emergency door, designed for moments like these, was gone, violently ripped away by the sheer force of the crash. With a surge of adrenaline, he scrambled through the jagged opening, pushing aside debris and ignoring the searing pain. He took a leap of faith, jumping from the precarious wreckage onto the burning campus grounds below. Every second counted. Injured, his body screaming in protest, but miraculously alive, adrenaline coursed through his veins, pushing him forward, fueling his desperate escape. He ran blindly, desperate to escape the engulfing flames, the suffocating smoke, and the sheer, overwhelming chaos that surrounded him. Dr. Dhaval Gameti, one of the first medical responders to arrive at the scene, found Vishwaskumar in a state of profound shock, battered, bleeding, but miraculously still conscious. He was, against all statistical probabilities, the sole survivor of the 242 souls on board that ill-fated flight. News of his almost unbelievable survival quickly spread like wildfire, carried on the wings of radio waves and television broadcasts. In the face of such immense tragedy, his survival was a single, fragile ray of hope, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. But for Vishwaskumar, the miracle of survival came inextricably intertwined with immense loss and unimaginable grief. His brother was gone, along with everyone else on board the plane. The weight of their absence would forever shape his life. His long and arduous journey of physical and emotional recovery had only just begun, a path fraught with challenges ahead. The world, captivated by his story of survival against all odds, would soon come to know his name and the details of his incredible ordeal. But for now, stripped bare of everything but life itself, he was simply alive, a solitary figure standing defiant against the face of unimaginable adversity. The response was immediate, but the devastation was overwhelming. Students and staff from BJ Medical College rushed toward the flames, joined by fire brigades from across Ahmedabad. The fire, fueled by jet fuel, raged with deadly intensity, hampering rescue efforts. National Disaster Response Force and police secured the area, searching for survivors. The discovery of Vishwaskumar was astonishing, but hope faded quickly. The grim task shifted to recovery. Emergency workers, hardened by training, were shaken by the tragedy. The search for the black boxes began, vital to understanding what happened. One was found quickly, a crucial step for investigators. The world watched, desperate for answers. The investigation was just beginning, Behind the numbers were lives, families, students, business travelers, and crew. Former Chief Minister Vijay Rupani's death sent shockwaves through Gujarat and beyond. The crew, 14 dedicated professionals, died in the line of duty, fighting to save their passengers. Each victim left behind grieving families and friends. The airport became a place of heartbreak, as relatives waited for news. Vishwas Kumar's brother was among the lost, a personal tragedy within a collective one. Flight 171's crash was not just a headline, but 241 stories of loss. With the fires out, the investigation began in earnest. Why did a modern Dreamliner fall from the sky? This was the first fatal crash for the 787. India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau led the inquiry, joined by global experts. Early clues. The landing gear was down, the RAT deployed, and the plane flew erratically. The focus turned to the Rolls-Royce engines and electrical systems. Had both failed. The pilots had followed correct procedures, but a sudden technical failure overwhelmed all safeguards. The black boxes, flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, held the answers. Their analysis would reveal the truth behind Flight 171's final moments. The international nature of the crash brought together investigators from India, the UK, the US, and Boeing. The UK's Air Accidents Investigation Branch and the US NTSB joined India's AAIB, analysing wreckage and flight data. India's aviation regulator ordered urgent inspections of all Air India Dreamliners. Most of the fleet was cleared, suggesting an isolated failure, not a design flaw. Meanwhile, Air India and the Tata Group announced compensation for victims' families. 10 million rupees per family, plus additional payments under international law, were pledged. No sum could replace a loved one, but it was a step toward accountability. The investigation pressed on, determined to prevent another tragedy. The world awaited answers. The crash of Flight 171 left an indelible mark on Ahmedabad and the aviation world. A memorial now stands at BJ Medical College, honoring those lost. The investigation's findings led to new safety directives for Dreamliners worldwide. Boeing and Rolls-Royce were required to implement design changes and stricter inspections. The lessons from Flight 171 became part of global aviation safety protocols. For families and the lone survivor, Vishwas Kumar, the legacy is personal: grief, resilience, and remembrance. Support groups formed, offering solace to those bound by tragedy. Vishwas Kumar's survival became a symbol of hope, but also of loss. The crash is remembered in every safety briefing, every flight, and every family forever changed. It is a stark reminder: in aviation, vigilance and safety must never be compromised.